Cleveland's got a very crowded, very busy quarterback room. Now, here are the actors. You've got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and rookie Shedeur Sanders. Also, Dylan Gabriel, another rookie. And so those guys are the new actors, Kenny Pickett, Gabriel, and Sanders. Now, Flacco was there. He had left, and now he's back. So they're all kind of new. They're all kind of new, but some were old and all that. Now, one storyline stands out head and shoulders above all the rest, which is really good talk radio. And really good talk radio. So that would be, I believe he's 40 now, Joe Flacco, elite quarterback Joe Flacco. Remember in sports talk radio conversation back in the day, is Joe Flacco an elite quarterback? Well, he was for a month and a half, and that's all he had to be to get a big contract. He was elite for a month and a half. Jump ball Joe. Used to call him jump ball Joe. Just throw the ball up and let the receiver jump, get that pass interference call. First down for the old Baltimore Ravens. So 40-year-old Joe Flacco is by far the oldest of the quarterback room, those that are in the competition. But he does not, he will not, he wants nothing to do with the very thought that he is going to go in there and mentor the young quarterbacks for the Cleveland football team. Flacco, you see this? No, you didn't see this? So Flacco has said this in the past, but he doubled down on it yet again. Flacco made it perfectly clear at the Browns OTAs, that's organized team activities, that he is solely focused on winning the starting job for the Browns and that he's not worried about helping anyone out, make them a better player and all that stuff. Now this, as you might imagine, has not gone over well. There is nothing that upsets a high percentage of sports blowhards and gas bags than a quarterback saying, I am not going to help some other young quarterback. I am not going to be a mentor. I am not going to teach them all of my secrets. This drives people nuts. In the media, they get very upset. So let's discuss. The question on this one, we're going to frame it like this. Why? We'll get to the why. Why are people so upset with Joe Flacco for saying he is not a mentor in the Browns quarterback competition? So I've got Mickey Mouse, Cliff Notes, and bubble wrap. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a tissue so we can clean out those eye boogers. You know when you sleep, you get that dried mucus, and you clean that out. All right, so number one. I said number one. My theory as to why people have been worked into a lather because Joe Flacco is not willing to give his wisdom away to someone else. It's because many generations of sports fans have been indoctrinated. It's kind of like the NCAA. They would say, hey, it's student athlete, which was a term they made up to get out of paying a workers' comp claim. So they just cooked up the term as a weasel term, student athlete. They were never athletes or never students. They were athletes. They were the top football and basketball players. So they came up with that, and they just kept using it in all the marketing, and dumb people's like, oh, they said it. It must be true. They're student athletes. Well, over the years, as observers of sports, we have been taught, we've been indoctrinated, and if you're an older player, you have to give away all your secrets to someone younger than you. That's the way it works. And so Flacco, he has been called, among other things, tone deaf. Tone deaf Joe. Outdated, boomer, old head, embarrassing, all those things. So these dopes who believe that mentoring is part of the job. They believe that mentoring is part of the job, whether you like it or not, period, end of story. There's a lot of people that believe that. And we say, we have an unpopular opinion. Not so fast, my friend. Unpopular opinion alert. Joe Flacco. And I went back and I checked when he agreed to return to the Browns. Joe Flacco was not hired as a camp counselor. He was not a career counselor when he was hired. He was brought back to Cleveland as, wait for it, a quarterback, a contingency plan, not a muse for Shedeur Sanders. And so the people that are flustered, they're bedraggled that Joe Flacco would dare say this. I love his honesty. That's my first. I love his honesty. My first thought. And the people that are really upset, they're projecting this into some kind of hokey Disney movie where, it's a Mickey Mouse idea. It's a Mickey Mouse idea that the veteran has to do this. You're romanticizing, and you're not living in reality. Like, in what other business does that happen? Is there another business that happens? I don't know of one. And you don't owe anyone mentorship. Now, if Joe Flacco decides he wants to do it, that's fine. That's on him. And if he doesn't want to do it, that's also perfectly fine. If Cleveland wants to hire Joe Flacco as a quarterback coach and pay him an extra salary as a quarterback coach, and he's okay with it, he's fine with it, fine. Otherwise, forget about it. Forget about it, right? Joe Flacco, he said the quiet part out loud, and he's just keeping it real. Now, speaking of keeping it real, a lot of noise coming out of Pittsburgh. Not about Aaron Rodgers. This is not an Aaron Rodgers monologue. No, it is not. However, it is about another big name, and more reporting over the last few hours here that there's an expectation. The team that sells terrible towels, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh, a rival, I say rival of the Browns, but the Browns lose to the Steelers all the time, so not really much of a rival. And when the Browns win once every couple of years, they celebrate like they've won the Super Bowl, like they did. Remember the snow game in Cleveland? Yeah. Anyway, so the expectation is that linebacker T.J. Watt will have a new contract agreement with the black and yellow prior to the start of the regular season. And it's going to happen. So now T.J. Watt, we know there's a big money offer. Big money, no whammy. Stop. So there's a big money offer on the table from the Pittsburgh Steelers. But no deal yet. There is no deal yet. So what is going on with this situation? You got reports saying it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Much like the Aaron Rodgers story, there's an offer, there's big money, but no deal. But we're focusing in on T.J. Watt. So what is going on here? So it's rather clear on this one that the offer is big, and you know that came from the Steelers. That didn't come from T.J. Watt's camp. That came from the Steelers. They used their useful idiots in the media to get that message out. It's a big offer. It's not big enough. And now, how do I know that? Well, I am a distant relative of Nostradamus and friend of Nostradamus. He lives in Seattle, although did not come to the meet and greet in Vancouver, which is just a relative short drive from Seattle, so not a big friend of mine anymore because he did not make the trip. But anyway, that aside, all right, as a distant relative of Nostradamus and friend of Nostradamus, the offer, not big enough because nothing has been signed. There's no DocuSign, nada, crickets. It's a we'll see situation. It's a we'll see what's going on situation. Now, Watt is following the outline to a T, the cliff notes on how to let the world know you are not happy. And you're belly aching, you want more money, you want to weaponize the fan base to attack the team, and he's following all of the key points. He's checking all the boxes. What are the boxes? Skip OTAs, check. Dropping cryptic Instagram posts that can be interpreted multiple ways, check, check. Deputizing his brother, a relative, in this case J.J. Watt, to publicly nudge the team to get a bigger offer, which is akin to pouring gas on the fire. Check, check, check. But wait, there's more. You've now created a media circus. Check, 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 check. That's 4 checks. So listen, we get it. T.J. Watt has been the last several years in Pittsburgh. He's not just your normal generic brand player. He has been a game changer. In fact, you would argue he is the most famous player on the Steelers, and it's really not even close. They don't have anyone that's that famous on offense. Now, they could get Aaron Rodgers. They likely will, but Rodgers is old. He's washed up. He's more worried about where his next dose of ayahuasca is coming from than his next big win. And so you got a guy here who's a game changer, big-time player, as we said, and the identity of that team, and someone that it would appear wakes up in the morning and he does not eat a normal breakfast. He just eats offensive linemen for breakfast, offensive tackles. He just enjoys that. And the only reason that there would be any kind of hesitation for the Pittsburgh Steelers here is because of the age. TJ Watt is 30. He's had a lot of injuries because he's a football player, a lot of bumps and bruises. It's like, well, he's only going to get hurt more. It's a lot of money. But you can't not sign him because you're screwed either way. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. All right, final point. We stay in the Keystone State, but we go all the way across. And I've made that drive. I made the drive from Philly to Pittsburgh. Beautiful country, beautiful forest. Not a lot in between. Not a lot. It's like one big city in between. That's it. Anyway, so running back Saquon Barkley, the cover boy for Madden NFL 26. That report was announced that Saquon Barkley, he's got a deal. So question, should the Marching and Chowder Society of the Eagle fan base, the Neanderthal fan base of the Philadelphia Eagles, be concerned about the hex? Should they be concerned about the hex? So I'll answer this by nodding my head aggressively. You can't see me unless you're watching on the YouTube. Yes, I'm nodding my head aggressively, yes. Because what they have done is put the voodoo boogaloo right on top of Saquon Barkley and also the Lombardi Trophy. You might as well bubble wrap Barkley right now. Put Saquon in bubble wrap. Why? The double whammy. You've got the double whammy. Now let's start with the time-tested Madden cover jinx. You say, well, it's only happened a few times. Well, if you look at the data and you go back in the modern era of the Madden game, we have a lot of data that confirms this is not just urban legend. This is not just folklore. There's a there. There's a Bermuda Triangle situation here. And if you do the math on it, since 1999, that's a long time. That's a generation. So the last generation with the Madden game, that's 26 years, a little over a generation. Since 1999, what percentage of the Madden cover athlete has suffered a serious injury the season they appeared on the cover, the following season? You have a guess? You think it's A, 30%, B, 10%, or C, 5%, or D, none of the above? All right? Lock your answer in. Don't cheat. Do not cheat. All right. Survey says D, none of the above. The answer, 60.7%. 60.7%. Do you understand if I told you to invest in something that paid back 60% dividends, holy crap, you'd be rich? A 600 batting average. 60.7% of Madden cover athletes since 1999. There have been 28, 17 out of the 28. Because a couple years they had more than one. 17 out of the 28 have suffered injuries the season following the cover appearance. Most recently, Christian McCaffrey. And I remember doing this very monologue last year. Christian McCaffrey had found himself, wasn't hurt anymore with the Niners. McCaffrey, the latest, he missed 49er games, multiple games in the 2024 season. He missed the first game because of an Achilles injury and then missed the last several games of the regular season with knee sprains. But even when he was playing, he had multiple injuries and missed chunks of games. You won 100%. So you mix in the fact, now I mentioned this double whammy. So you've got the time-tested Madden jinx, the voodoo boogaloo. So you've got that. But then also, you have the fact that Saquon Barkley went out last season and let's just call it like it is. He painted the Starry Night last season in Philadelphia. It was a work of art. It was a masterpiece that he put together. It wasn't all him. It was the offensive line, Hurts. It was a cacophony of amazing plays in the backfield. So what happens after you paint your Starry Night? And the next couple of paintings, not that good. So expect a regression to the mean, a regression to the mean. Extreme outcomes are followed by more moderate ones. Yeah. So that is code for the data evens out, which means Barkley's going to go down. His performance will not be as good. And then you've got the self-fulfilling prophecy of the Madden hex, the jinx that has been put on. All right. We'd also like to alert all the affiliates that every TV in the building is updating. There is new software, so every monitor that we have here is updating. Downloading software. Please wait. Do not interrupt. So I'm glad they're doing that. Why don't they do that during the day? Why do they only do it at night? I don't understand. The computers, they always have to update when we're here, and even the TVs. Okay. Just one time I'd like to see them do this at noon. Like, hey, let's do a noon update. And everyone lose their mind. All those daytime people would lose their freaking mind. They wouldn't know what to do. Anyway.